I have the pleasure of hosting Butheina, the founder of Cinema Akil, and Rachael, the founder of Capsule Arts, Saossen, who is a gynecologist here in Dubai, and we have Joy, the founder of Fetchr, and Alexandria, the editor of Stylist Arabia. Alexandria will host the evening today.
Hi all, thank you so much for being here today. Just to give you a bit of background about me, so editor of Stylist Arabia. I've been in the media industry for nearly 15 years, and the past 10 years of those have actually been in Dubai. And in that time, 10 years is a long time in Dubai, and obviously in that time the environment working here has changed a hell of a lot. And I think at the moment, I think you'd all agree that it's no times better to be a woman than now in the UAE. There's so much achievement going on. With these ladies here, for example, right now, there's so much success, support going on. And then yeah, so basically like the UAE is thriving at the moment. And then so obviously today we're going to discuss with these women to talk about your journeys to the top of the industry. But obviously no success story is ever without its hurdles. And that's what makes a success story the strongest story. So my first question is going to be, ladies, what's the biggest obstacle you guys have all faced in your rise to the top? And I'll start with Joy.
Oh God, the list goes on. How much time do I have? So my biggest obstacle is probably, to be honest with you, how expensive it is as a startup, right? Most startups have no money, we're poor. And how expensive it is to do business here in Dubai. I think that's been my #1 obstacle, right? We have 2,000 employees. The visa costs alone on 2,000 employees. Each visa is costing me 6,000 dirhams. I mean, there's a lot of costs for startups. So I'm speaking as a startup. That's probably my #1 obstacle, is how do we make it cheaper for startups to thrive here in Dubai. The second thing is probably finding talent. I'm constantly looking for really good people to work at Fetchr. And it's really hard to find somebody who has a work ethic, right? Everything's inshallah, bukra, inshallah. It's like, you know, I'm American, so forgive me for that. But it's like 8 o'clock in the morning means that you need to be at work at 8 o'clock, not 8:15, inshallah. So I think my biggest obstacle, my second biggest obstacle, is really hiring people, good talent with a good work ethic.
And then yes, Saossen.
I would say no obstacle at all. For me, as a doctor, I came as the first French gynecologist in Dubai 9 years ago, and everything was just open, and I'm just happy, and I think I'm successful, and I mean it keeps on raising, and I have the sky's the limit for me. So
But there's no obstacles in Dubai, were there?
not at all. No, not at all. For me, it's a great place to be.
And Rachel.
To be honest, I would echo a lot of what Joy said in terms of us being a startup. For us growing the company, I think starting the company was, in hindsight, relatively simple, relatively easy, but actually growing the company, hiring is a big challenge. Coming at it from a slightly different angle, a personal challenge I think that I found is that if I look back at me early in my career, I shied away from confrontation a lot. Always wanted to keep people happy and didn't really, you know, find my voice and standing up for myself and getting what it is that I wanted, but doing it in a way that I felt comfortable with. So being able to assert my position or get what it is I wanted without kind of treating fire with fire.
And how did you do that then?
It's a tough one because, I mean, we'll get to it, but we work in quite a male-dominated area, and I find that often people do fight fire with fire. So it's about kind of creating an open dialogue. We always look towards things with a very positive problem-solving attitude. I think it's extreme blame culture here. And you can waste an hour in an argument where everyone's blaming everyone, but it actually takes, you know, someone to stand up and say, okay, let's look at how we solve the problem. And that's kind of the way I like to approach things. We were just talking about star signs. I'm an earth sign. Maybe that's just part of me, who I am. But that for me, I think, was a personal struggle, kind of learning how I can deal with confrontation without causing it further.
Ina.
Well, from a work perspective, I mean, I think I always joke that starting an independent art house cinema here is a bit of a suicide mission. You know, it's conventionally speaking, and almost stereotypically speaking, it's, you know, Dubai, you know, is not a city that has kind of been known for a very robust, you know, arts and culture scene. I've been humbled over the past, you know, 3 years doing this and seeing how much is actually happening and how much has grown. And I think the past 10 years have really been significant since, you know, the opening of the first kind of contemporary art gallery in Alexandria, and kind of now where we're at, and a lot of cultural investment that's happening across different spheres has really changed the landscape, and I think people are just yearning for it. But, you know, it's still something that's very novel, it's still something that's very new. And, you know, having the policies and the infrastructure, the support system, and the audience base, and growing that and allowing us to really move quickly, you know, opening a cinema in Alcoz, you know, is something that is not without its challenges, and we've had to really push and revisit a lot of the policies and the legislative components that are in place that don't have kind of, you know, independent startup and cultural enterprise built into the system. So we've had to kind of, you know, really redefine a lot of the way that things are done here. So that's kind of been the primary challenge, and that's why 2 years later, you know, we are still trying to get the approval to start breaking ground in the warehouse that we've had for the past 2 years. We're going to get there, you know, and that's why we've been around as a nomadic platform for the past 2 years. But yeah, I mean, it is something that's incredibly grueling and difficult to deal with.
I mean, for you as well, you choose the films that you showcase in the cinemas, and everybody knows here, like, the cinemas, it is a sexist place. There's a whole gender pay gap. Like Jennifer Lawrence is fighting for it in Hollywood. And then for you, do you ever feel that you might sway towards a female director more, or are you quite even in your approach and how you choose a film? Do you just go for the talent, or do you feel like, no, I want to show the female films off, like?
I mean, I like to say that, you know, I like to think that I'm, you know, that I think film first and story first, and, you know, there's sort of the efficacy of the storytelling kind of capacity really takes precedence. But I definitely, I mean, as a you know, as a woman, a supporter of women, as a lover of women, as a feminist, you know, I do think that, you know, given the opportunity and given the platform or given the right kind of story, I will always try and include a female voice, and always try to, and not just as affirmative action, you know, as an actual legitimate, important, significant part of the conversation. So yeah, it definitely plays a part in every single program that I do.
And then
and a lot of times women do it better, so.
Most times. Not sometimes, most times. And then the next question leads on to this then. Being a woman, does that ever held you back in your career? Has there any been issues where you felt like being a woman's made it harder?
Where do we start with that, right? I mean, it's an entire world that's kind of, you know, rigged against, you know, the idea that women, you know, live and exist and, you know, and are and have opinions, and, you know, and on all fronts, you know. So yes, I mean, you know, whether it's policies, whether it's the way you look, whether it's being told what to do, whether it's being told how to act, whether it's being, you know, being told how to speak and how to, you know, don't hunch your shoulders, or, you know, don't wear red lipstick, or don't do this and act like a man and do all these things. I mean, where do you start, you know? So yes, you know, these are challenges, but yet she persists. Yeah.
And then, Rachel, so in your industry, a lot of the work you do could be pitching against other clients, and then a lot of times, I mean, in your partner, you're both female, so I'm guessing that kind of works against you sometimes, unfortunately.
It does. I don't think we've ever let it beat us, which is the good thing. But I was just explaining to some of the women on the panel earlier that I actually, we had a situation with a client before where, just as we were being appointed, actually said to each other, we had some reservations about appointing you, and you know, we're always keen for feedback, so we're asked for the feedback, and their feedback was, you know, you and Deepa are two young female women. We weren't sure if you were strong enough to handle the project. We were awarded the project, and we were strong enough to handle it, but I must say, it's been challenging, but it hasn't stopped us. It hasn't prevented us from getting projects, because hopefully, you know, the work that we do speaks for itself. And actually, it's took some of the people in leadership roles that have actually, you know, said, we want to support you and we want you to do the job. We actually had a client just the other week say, you know, that they had other people going for the job, but they wanted to support Deepa and I with our business, and they wanted to give the job to us. So it takes, I think, a lot of the time, unfortunately, at the moment, a lot of the people in leadership roles are still men, but the support coming from them, I think, is absolutely vital. Unfortunately, we're still at the mercy.
We're getting there though. And then Saossen, in your career in medicine, that is a very male-dominated industry. And then obviously gynecology as well, that's quite an area, especially in the Middle East, where people, you know, a bit more shy to talk about or go to see the doctor about. So then obviously, for me personally, having a female gynecologist works to my advantage. But how has it affected you?
Look, there are two fields in gynecology. You have obstetrics, giving birth and following pregnant ladies, and delivering these ladies, and you have surgery. If you want to be a surgeon, you have to be a man, because they trust men for surgeons as a surgeon. So if you want to be handled correctly, and you know what I mean, if you want to have a heavy surgery, you know women think that men can make it and not women. Women are good enough just for obstetrics. In my career, I had obstacles. When you want to be a surgeon, you have to be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the hospital. But I had kids during my career, my fellowship. So I was not able to be from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. in the hospital every single day. So I had to give up this field. So you're not considered as a real doctor if you're not a surgeon when you're a gynecologist. But as a woman and as a gynecologist, you can bring so much more than just techniques. You know, you can talk to women, you understand women, you can share secrets, you can let them open their hearts to you. And this is what, for me, is more important. People.
I think in your field of work, men will never be able to do the personal connection.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important thing, and that's one thing men will never be able to have when it comes to
absolutely
your field.
Yeah.
And then obviously
it's just a story. I have so many stories to tell you.
I'm just one more. We are live.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
sorry.
I just don't want you to say.
No, but it's just no, it's not true. It's not true. It's just something that a nurse told me this morning, and I just needed to share it with you. She told me, a doctor, in the morning you are a doctor, in the afternoon you are a mom, and in the evening you are a wife. And I told her, I swear it's a true story. It happened today. And I told her, so why are we just women for ourselves? This is a big question.
So the question goes, do I find it as a disadvantage being a woman, right, here in the Middle East? And surprisingly, coming from Silicon Valley, California, I find it a huge advantage to be a woman in the Middle East. It has been a huge advantage for me, and I'll tell you why. My biggest business is in Saudi Arabia, and I deal with a lot of men who are religious and conservative, and when I come into the room, I respect their beliefs, so I don't shake their hands, as many of you know. I respect their views and their religious background. But what's interesting is that when my partner, who is a man, goes to negotiate, I notice that when there's a man behind the table, and I'm in a male-dominated industry, right? I'm in shipping, guys. Fetchr is a shipping company. So when there's a man across the table dealing with another man and they're negotiating, right? It's ego. I've seen it. It's unbelievable. The guy is like, we're only paying this. And, you know, my partner, who's a man, I just look at him and I go, can you leave this to me? Because there's no ego with a woman, right? So I use that to my advantage every single time when I'm negotiating with a man, because in the Middle East, they see you as a woman and they immediately are like, okay. You know? So I use it as my advantage. I do all the negotiating at Fetchr. Joy is the negotiator at Fetchr, because there's no man ego to man ego. And it's interesting because in the Middle East, you can see it. I mean, I see it at the table. I said this, and inshallah, that's it. This is my word. I will not allow you. And I see this energy between two men. And then I come in and I'm like, look, we just can't do this. And I feel that my energy as a female immediately gets the guy to go, okay. I can feel it. And so I'm a much better negotiator when it comes to men. And I use that as an advantage, where in the United States, where I'm from, that would not work. I have an energy that's masculine. I think you guys can see that by me talking. I conduct myself very seriously, and I don't use any of my femininity. So I walk into the room and I'm like, you better take me seriously. I don't flirt. I don't smile. I don't flip my hair. I come in. I don't show any cleavage. I don't wear any short skirts. I'm not super conservative on me, as you see me today, but my energy is like, you better take me seriously, because I'm here to negotiate. And I believe that women in the Middle East, I believe, again, it's my belief, you need to take that off the table, because if you conduct yourself in that manner, I guarantee you they will treat you in that manner, and you will not get what you want. It'll work the opposite. You won't get what you want. You'll get a guy who wants to ask you out to dinner, but you won't get the deal on the table. So my advice is look decent. Look, if you're a beautiful woman, you're a beautiful woman. You don't need to go the extra mile to attract. Be yourself, that's attractive. Be confident, that's attractive. And I've used that to my advantage.
Because we were having this conversation earlier, and it's something that, you know, I feel very strongly about. You know, it's, I do see how that can happen. You know, it's realpolitik, like it's what happens on ground. And I'm sure, you know, every woman in different capacities has experienced that to a certain degree. But I think, you know, there's something very tragic about the fact that we as women have to negate our femininity, you know, and tone that, dial that down. Not use it as a tool, but if it's part of who you are, you know, if you're a girl in heels and you're proud of that, you know, and you like wearing skirts, and that's part of who you are. But let me just finish, right? You know, so if that's part of who you are, you know, then you should be able to do that.
Feminine woman.
You're gorgeous, yeah. Okay? But that's what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is, I'm saying that you know, don't have to play down part of who you are in order to get something. There's something wrong with the other person, with the way that men think, with the way that they're taught to think about women in heels, if we are having to change the way we speak and the way that we dress. And I think it's a larger problem, you know, and this is a tactic, and it does work, and I've seen it work, you know, and I've played that card sometimes. But at some point I had to say to myself, you know, that's not in the long run, you know, what am I, you know, how am I helping change the mindset? You know, how can I actually be who I am, you know, dress the way I want to dress, you know, apply makeup the way that I want to apply makeup. And it's not a card, you know, it's not a play. It's just who I am, and still be taken seriously, and still not have that be seen as an advance.
I have not had that experience. Look, I consider myself a beautiful woman. I don't want anyone to have attention to my eyes, my jewelry, my lipstick, my clothes. I want someone to have attention to my voice, what I'm saying. That's what I want the attention to be. And for me, if you go in there and you are bedazzled, I'm sorry. As a woman, and I don't consider myself an ugly woman, you are going to be approached and you're going to be looked at, and you're going to be looked at as a bedazzler. You're not going to be looked at as a serious, in my opinion, in my knowledge.
I like to think of myself as the earth sign for two fires. I think there's femininity in the way you dress, and there's femininity in the way you behave. And I think going into a business situation and using the way you dress or the way you look to your advantage is wrong. But using your skills as a feminine, like you were mentioning, you know, being a listener, being somebody that's a bit more caring and understanding in a situation, that's when women can use their femininity to their advantage of business.
All my business meetings in ballet flats and a shirt and a skirt, and guess what? My ballet flats takes me seriously. You know, if I walk in a pair of stilettos, is the guy across the room going to take me seriously? Probably not.
Well, if the deal you're putting on the table is good enough, then it's good enough. There's no taking that back.
Okay, I'm going to move to the next question, so I don't think we're going to finish this one. We'll talk about this one when the camera's stopped. So I fear we might get into fights. It kind of leads on nicely, actually. So the UN initiative for International Women's Day is 50-50 equality by 2030. So I guess, to be honest with you, everything you guys have just been talking about now, how do you see what steps need to be taken in order for us to meet 50-50 balance by 2030? Butheina, do you want to start? Or do you want to start? Yeah.
I think that we need to educate our kids. I have 3 boys, and every single day I tell them it's okay to cry, it's okay to be weak, it's okay to be strong, to be confident. And the other day my kid came, he's 10, and he told me, you know, the first one at the race was a girl. I said, and then what? She was a girl, she was stronger than you, she was stronger than the others, good for her. You need to know that we can make it. We can be stronger than men, than boys, and you have to learn that it's okay. And he was like, oh yeah, okay, so next time I will train more, and I will be the first one at the race. This is how we need to educate our kids, to let them know that we are not better than men, they are not better than us, we're just equal. The problem is that why are we even trying to convince them that we are equal? So for our generation, I think it's too late. It's the next generation, and it's the way we raise our kids. This is it. Yeah.
Rachel?
I completely agree with that. But I think the one thing that we can do now is to be empowered and have the confidence to say no when we feel we're being undermined, or we feel we're being treated unfairly, or even just a passing flippant comment. We have a team of all women. Our whole office is women, and we had a supplier walk in one day. People will kill me for telling this story. We had a supplier walk in one day and said, oh, how are you doing, girls? And I was like, oh, we're so busy. And he was like, oh yeah, you were looking at shoes. And I felt a moment of going, oh yeah, funny. And then I was like, actually no. Like, that's really unfair comment to be made. You should not be making those kind of comments. And I think it takes several things. It takes women standing up for themselves when they feel that they're being undermined, and speaking out about it. It also absolutely involves education. And it also, as I mentioned earlier, it takes the men who are in leadership roles to provide a platform for open discussion, and to support women in what they want to do and moving their careers forward. Because with a lot of the people in top management making decisions about who they're hiring, who they're firing, you know, we need to stick up for ourselves and say what we want, but we need to be heard, and they need to have open ears to that.
Almost too scared, Joy.
Yeah, I'm known for being a little controversial. So basically the question is what we can do to even the playing field?
Yeah, then what steps do you think need to be taken in order for men and women to be literally on the same level? Yeah, 50-50. Which is the aim for 2030.
Well, I'm going to stick to what I said. I think it's about women not using their sexuality to get ahead. I think it's about women using their brains. I think how you represent yourself, you're a brand. I'm a brand. I'm Fetchr. How I represent myself is how somebody is gonna look at me. So I don't see a problem.
So you've never encountered sexism at all?
Never. Not in Dubai. I have not. I'm being honest with you. In the United States, I have, but here in Dubai, I have not.
So United States then, like how would you react differently? What would you think in the United States? Here then you think 50-50 is more achievable in the UAE, but in the US, what would need to be done in the US in order to achieve the equal balance?
I don't know. I mean, I wish I had a straightforward answer for you. I don't want to sit here and chit-chat. I don't have an answer for you on this. I think it's, you know, how do you change things? You can't change the outside. You have to change yourself, right? I think if you change yourself, each woman one at a time is going to change the world. Coming up with a generic answer saying, oh, we're going to change men. You're not going to change men. You can't change anyone. You can't change your husband. You can't change your children. You can only change yourself. How you conduct yourself is the only thing you can bank on.
I just wanted to say that if only all women had the self-belief and confidence that Joy had.
I wish somebody would flirt with me. No man I've ever dealt with has ever flirted with me.
But I think we have to be real. We have a situation where Joy is a role model. Not a lot of women have the self-belief and confidence that she has, and I think in that respect, absolutely, it comes from within. But also, I just want to clarify what I said about getting the support from men. You know, you have a leader like Justin Trudeau, or you have a leader like Sheikh Mohammed, who ensure that they have women on their cabinet, who put women in leadership roles. And that's the kind of support that men need to be given, to showing these women are vital in the development of our countries and the work that we do.
So men are important in getting this equality.
I mean, men are vital. Men are vital in the way that they think, and being kind of, being re-educating themselves. And, on my part, from sort of the film point of view, we try to tell these stories, and we try to show these perspectives through the films that are made, and through the documentaries that are out there, and through kind of the narratives that actually show how these things are kind of sometimes designed to create the status quo. I don't believe that stereotypes are hardwired. I think that stereotypes are created. There's a larger picture, that contributes to the way that we view ourselves and the way that we are viewed. So there's some systemic challenges that can play. Now that's a big agenda right there. That's why the UN is tackling these, right? On a very kind of individual level, I think there's a really strong role for, and not to put all the onus on women, because there's already a lot of pressure on women. Everybody's telling women what to do, and how they're responsible for everything, and how they get, hey, here's another burden on you, women out there, take this and make it your priority. If you can champion other women and support them, it's like, Maya Angelou said, if you stand up for a woman knowingly or not, you're standing up for all women out there. So you have a role to play in that, so every individual in their different capacities, in whatever it is that they do, whether they're, successful startup entrepreneur like Joyce, or you're a single mother, or you're a lawyer, or whatever it is that you do, you have some role to play in proving that there isn't a single way that you're supposed to be living your life, and that you're supposed to be a woman. Women are being told what to do left, right, and center, how they're supposed to be. And these constructs really need to be redefined, because there isn't a single way, like, Western feminism being kind of the model, or, or certain kinds of models of feminism that exist out there being the only way that feminism can exist.
I'm intrigued actually to know, because everyone seems to have slightly different opinions and thoughts of this. If you guys could say perhaps in a sentence, so what does feminism mean to you? I'm intrigued to know each of your opinions, or definition, feminism, or definition.
I mean, fundamentally, feminism to me means that women are just as equal, as capable, as smart, as able, as strong, as, everything as men, and to be treated as such, and to be, to be thought of as such. I mean, that's just kind of the very, very bare bones idea of it. I mean, it's a much more complex thing, and I can go into it, but I know you said a sentence, so.
Yeah. So Rachel.
I go from simple. I think for me, feminism is a word. To me, feminism means empowerment. To me, that's the act of feminism. Because I don't find that I'm not a feminist who's an activist. Perhaps because I already feel entitled to how I behave or what I do. So that's that would be how I see it.
Saossen? Feminism is sometimes it's misunderstood. Sometimes we want to be superior to men, so that makes men don't take us seriously. I mean, if you want to fight too hard for something, you lose. So just slowly, we need to show the leadership, the empowerment, everything that makes us not equal, because in my heart I feel we are not equal. I'm sorry, we are superior to men. We can deal with everything. We are multitask. We can deal with a lot of things. We can deal with kids and work and cooking and supermarket and everything. Why they can do only one thing, just work, and they are supposed to bring the money to the house. So feminism is not enough, is a weak word. We are superior, and it's high time we stand up for what we deserve.
I can see you shaking your head.
Guys. I wish we'd stop with this word feminism. Seriously, I want to vomit when I hear it. Guys, it's not about being feminism and all that. It's about self-worth, guys. It's about self-worth. It's about being a woman who knows that she deserves better. That's what feminism means to me, babe. If you truly know that you deserve better and you have self-worth, to me, that's what feminism means. It means that you're a woman who knows what she deserves, period.
And then the final question, and then we're going to open it out to everybody else, is life lessons. What's the greatest life lesson you've learned?
You sure you want to hear mine? Okay, ladies, for everybody who's out there, please, okay? I'm older than everybody here, okay, and I've seen a lot more than life. Guys, my number one life lesson is do not rely on a man for your future, your happiness, your financial stability, and your life. Rely on yourself. Ladies, I say this from the heart. I mean this. Every single one of my friends, I'm Arab, I'm Palestinian, okay? Every single one of my friends is married, and they made it their lifelong goal to find a rich husband. Okay? That is it. As long as I find a rich husband, I'm successful, right? Self-worth comes in accomplishing things and feeling good about yourself because you've done something that you've created. It makes you interesting as a human being, right? If you're married to a guy and the only thing you have in your life is that you're raising his kids in your home and you're shopping at Dubai Mall, you know, he's gonna find you boring. You're gonna find yourself boring, more importantly, all right? And you've not contributed to anything to make you feel good about yourself. I don't care if you're...
I think there's a few stay-at-home moms who might disagree. I mean, it is a full-time job looking after children.
No, I disagree because I think you need to do something for yourself that you feel proud of. It's not about making money. It's not about making money. It's about
being
doing...
stay-at-home moms, that could be your happiness. I don't think...
I disagree. I think that you are a woman who has to accomplish things for yourself, and you have to feel good about yourself. Being a mom is wonderful. I don't negate it in any way, okay? But what about you? What about you? What are you doing to feel good about yourself? You know, this woman is a doctor. She's got 3 kids. She goes in every single day and she helps women either deliver babies or heal themselves from endometriosis or fibroids or infertility. But she's changing. She's doing something. She's going to work. She's productive. She's doing something that's meaningful. And she's a good mom. I just think that a lot of us lose ourselves on who we're married to, and I think that has to change, because I can guarantee you that that is not going to make you happy. What's going to make you happy is feeling good about yourself and accomplishing things and being part of society. That's my view.
Saossen?
I totally agree. And I would add that you can achieve anything and everything. You can go to university, you can have a degree, you can stay at home if you want to raise your kids. For why? And then, but you need time for yourself. Yes, you do need time. But you can do everything because you're a woman. So as I said, you can work and raise your kids and have others and work and etc.
But what was your personal life lesson?
I did it. I'm making it every day, and I hope I will make it for a long time.
What pearls of wisdom though could you give to somebody else to help them?
Just believe in yourselves. You can do it. I was never told that I would be able to become a doctor coming from an immigrant's background. My parents immigrated in the early 70s to France from Tunisia. We were poor, and I was given the opportunity to go to university because universities are free in France, and I'm thankful. But I always believed in myself, and at 7 years old I told my mom I want to be a doctor. 7. And you're right when you say that we need to do something for ourselves, and I always believed in it, and I did it. And I know anybody can do anything. You just have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, it's over. And as a woman, you have the power. Well, we have more power than men to achieve our dreams.
Rachel?
It's similar threads, quite honestly. I grew up in a tiny, broken seaside town in the UK that has the highest pregnancy rate of the whole Western world. I think it's ridiculous. And I was there and said I want to go to art school, and everyone went, "What are you going to do with that?" And I remember I've had numerous conversations with people. I had one particular conversation with my stepbrother, and he was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, I want to work in the art world, and I want to make a living doing art. And he was like, "Well, that's never going to happen. Why are you bothering?" And I somehow, at 16, had that self-belief that, well, somebody's got to do that job. So who says it can't be me? And I tell it to my nieces and my nephews, anyone at that town that will listen. But I faced it repeatedly, and I don't know what it is, particularly my family, maybe just getting completely beaten back that you won't make it, or why are you going to do that? I had a very close auntie say to me, "Oh, well, you were really lucky to get that job, weren't you?" And I was like, "No, I worked really hard to get that job. That's why I've got that." And it comes down to that self-belief, and it comes down to that questioning the norm. If it's what you want to do, believe in yourself, because like I said, someone's got to do that job. Nobody says it can't be you if you're willing to put the time and effort and work in.
Look, it's only women that can do this, I gotta say. We can have different opinions, we could disagree wholeheartedly, but we can find a way to come together, to come to some kind of agreement, to some kind of unison. And in this case, I gotta say, this is true. It is about finding who you are. It's about believing that person. It's about building the strongest, most resilient filter that you can muster because you're going to hear a lot of things. A lot of people are going to tell you what to do, how to be, whether as a woman or as, you know, whatever, you know, skin color you are, or as a, you know, as a, whatever your faith is, or what you look like, or whatever. All these different things are gonna play some role in the way that people expect you to behave. You know, and you gotta, or even your socioeconomic class. I mean, a lot of these different things are going to try and define you and put you in a box. Whether it's, you know, it's telling you that your self-worth is, you know, staying at home with 6 kids and that's your only kind of pursuit of happiness, you know, or it's becoming a doctor, or or behaving a certain way, or becoming a CEO, or following your dreams and going to eat, pray, love. Like, there's a lot of different ways that you're going to be told how to be. And I think you got to figure out a way to cut through all that noise. And I think that's the only, I mean, look, I'm still learning, you know, and I really take, you know, I have to be humble about this, because, you know, your opinions and your thoughts of these things, I'm not here to relay any kind of wisdom, you know, I'm here to share what at least has got me through whatever challenges I've faced doing what I'm doing, you know. It's just figuring out this filter, figuring out this you know, these blinders that you got to put on to keep going, because you're going to have to do it, and nobody's going to do it for you. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. I think the best enlightenment comes out of opposing opinions, and haven't our perspectives been brought in tonight. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, and I hope you enjoyed.